My name is Jeffrey, and I'm a 17-year-old diverse artist. And what I have right now is my pipe cleaner art. So I make it out of fabric, wool, pipe cleaners, yarn, and a lot of other object and materials. They're like little action figures, but you can move them around like their faces. You can take off the hats or the masks, and you can equip items to them. So.
One of the things that you said that drew my mind to like a different place was the flashy, right? And I've lived in life where the way things look doesn't, for me, and that's where hearing you say that caused me to get a perspective that I needed. Because the way things look for me, it doesn't matter the way it looks. It matters what is in it and what contains in it. Because I've also lived in life to understand that the flashy things at times don't really hold much value. But you said something about that. You said flashy, but yet have something with it. It's not just about just being flashy. You're like, yo, have substance with a little bit of pizzazz in it is gonna get you the thing that you really need.
To me, what I learned about with the flashy and stuff, it's just it's a perfect icebreaker to me.
Oh.
Like, the best part about it is like when you have a flashy type of item or have something that is super consistent where people would ask you questions and then you can add some type of substance like explaining why you have it. For example, like my coat, I tend to have this because it's more of a flashy and on-site bright type, and they would ask me about my coat and say, I like your coat is nice. What is it about and everything? So I'll be able to explain about my pipe cleaner art because that's where it's more flashy with. Like with my character, I try to have it the dark but also light because it complements for each other.
Man, it's very important because in these eyes of the young people that we are trying, because in the young people are the ones that we need for them to see something like, okay, I want to be a part of that.
They're going to be a part of our new next generation.
Exactly.
So it's nice to have them to make sure to help them build their legacy.
Exactly. And sometimes I think as adults, we miss out on that. And we think that it's not important. Like, they don't care about how it looks. Just give them something and that should be good. I think if we do find ways to make sure that there's places that, one, are flashy, and two, can cultivate things that actually matter, it can help.
Yeah.
But the other part that you said that is very, very intriguing to me. Being in spaces where you don't see violence all the time. Being in spaces that you may not even see violence at school. But it only takes one or two times to be in the midst of something violent.
And it changes.
And it changes
the
entire outlook. Which is interesting, man, because you wouldn't do that for other things, you know?
Yeah.
Someone says if a person cooks twice, doesn't make them a cook. You know?
But if you do something violent once, you're automatically
violent.
Come on. If you're willing to do it again, it kind of draws.
Yeah.
So, in a way, I understand with that, but it's just more of the meaning of it.
For sure. And now, as people continue to see these things, someone may not see violence on TV. Somebody may not see violence in school. Somebody may see, because you said you've seen someone also potentially get roughed up or attacked or things like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just so much about you, but it may be about the people that you're around also experiencing violence that may have an effect on you.
Right.
And what does that how does that feel knowing that, I can even get trauma from not even my own.
Yeah, secondhand trauma.
Yeah.
I get it. It's 100%. Like I said, with a child these days, especially, at first, I know how when younger people were, it's just it's more of the environment in the house, and then you grow up with that. But now, this social media stuff actually truly comes into play now. Now it's more of the affection of the social media, the environment, and everything. The one time you look at something wrong at social media, and you feel like that's good to you, then you're going to just go down that rabbit hole.
Man.
So
then the question becomes, social media has been one of those things that
took a bigger part of our life, like glue. Let's be honest here. It's at this point, literally, with 1 in 4 people driving right now could possibly be texting and getting in a car crash. That's how bad it has been.
That is a very factual stat, because on top of that stat, it's one of those things that can help and hurt. And it's interesting to me about that because my mom didn't grow up in an area where she had social media, right? But she grew up with a community of individuals that helped raise her. And she used that information to help raise me. And then I grew up in the space of technology where I got a chance to realize, oh wait, the way that she did it might have not been the best, just because I got a chance to get exposed to other information, right? But it's interesting about how we can, as people, use things that's supposed to like benefit us to also hurt us. So when you see something like that, like your jacket, someone also, just like you said, your colors, someone would take your outfit and wear a certain color strictly.
Wear some specific, like some glasses or some type of mask. So it would just be a perfect icebreaker to get to know people, you know?
But it's opposite where, let's say, gang members, where it's like, all right, now I'm only wearing red. And now that is also too...
There's always two sides to every single coin.
You're right.
Same with always having good food. If you're having some delicious food, you want to eat that.
Yeah.
That includes junk food. But nobody looking at the vegetables type of stuff because, you know, it's not as tasteful.
Exactly.
It's not looking as delicious.
Exactly.
Let's be honest here. If I put a candy piece in front of a child, then an apple in front of a child, what are they going for?
The candy.
The candy.
The candy.
Like,
so in these spaces where optics matter, very, very much so, how do we make sure that the eyes are actually looking at the right thing and not the wrong? Because you're right, you can give them the two choices, right? But it is also on the individual that's giving those choices, if they are wise enough, to let them know, hey, these hold certain values. So what do you think we can do as just people, kids, adults, elders, to help make sure that the eyes and the optics are on the right thing and not the wrong?
It's just, for me, it's just like helping with bettering people. So yeah, what I mean by that is helping kids or any type of adult, because anyone can learn these days. Like it can be the most simplest thing, but that could carry you on for the rest of your life. So with a child, especially around the age of 3 or 4, they're like a sponge. They're gonna see and do it at that point. So you should really have the time to explain with emotions, and then as well as foods and nutrition. Like, teach them lifestyles that, you know, that should work out great for them. So for example, like within the future with me, I would like to teach my children how to do critical thinking skills, learn accountability, try to be less violent towards them, because let's be honest here, if you be violent toward a kid and that's all they know, 9 times out of 10, they gonna be violent.
Yeah.
They could even be worse violence, especially how the generation is these days. Like, think of bullies. Say, you know how bullies can be. They always try to pick on your violence because they only been growing up around violence.
Yeah.
You know?
I love the point that you made about bettering people. It's a very big statement that you made. And it's not bettering kids. You said bettering people. Because even in the beginning, we were talking about just like the parent aspect is sometimes how violence can be like trickled down to like the kids. Do you think that we have a space right now where kids and adults may be able to even say, hey, I can learn from you and you can learn from me?
That's a yes and no statement. Yes, there are some parents that I truly know and they're really cool to actually sit there and learn and, you know, wanted to grow, because some people don't know as much as the others. But it's just the same token is some parents doesn't want to learn because they think the olden days are just the best way to learn because that's how they learn, you know? It's just kind of one of those open up and open-minded experiences, because our predecessors have made the technology, but since we are further advancing it at an alarming rate, the more disconnected they more likely are. So sometimes it requires to teach someone. Like, let's be honest here. If we put an elder with a smart TV without teaching them, what are they gonna do? They're gonna be like, they're gonna call their grandchildren, or they're gonna be like, yeah, I don't know what this is gonna do. I just want to watch the Goldbergs, or I just want to watch the Young and Restless. How is it so hard, you know?
With the disconnect then, see, we're talking about the parents, but it seems like there's a space for young adults also to be a little vulnerable and less aggressive sometimes with the spaces that they can also help create. And I don't think they may not feel empowered. Do you feel like people your age feel empowered to be able to say, hey, mom, dad, uncle, elder, Like, I need to talk to you about this thing.
Well, yes and no. Like, I truly feel empowered because I tend to have try to build a relationship with everyone and be vocal instead of having to do violence or having to be passive aggressive about it. I'd rather talk out my feelings than actually have to express my feelings in the wrong way.
Wait, I have to stop you. Where did that stem from?
It stemmed from more of both of, well, the experience and then also the expression.
Okay.
And I prefer for any type of expression for any human being would be more vocal, because let's be honest here, most of the violence is because no one's being vocal. They always have that anger built up and built up, and then one day when they can't hold it no more and the next person they see, bam, something happened, you know? And it sucks.
Yeah. When I asked where did this stem from you, how did you get to the point where you didn't allow things to build up in your life like that?
Well, I refuse to just having a bottle of anger and never talking about my emotions, because I know it's not going to end up the best for me. Like, I've seen and I've been in type of situations where since somebody didn't want to be vocalized, it ended up to get physical or getting way worse, you know?
Yeah.
So
does your art help in any of those?
It helps a lot, actually. With my art, it's just more of the creative freedom of expression. So usually I can express how I feel by making a specific type of action figure. So say if I feel chaotic, I can just make a villain. Or if I feel heroic, I can make a hero. Or if I feel like, hey, I want to make this video game character. Or hey, it's Halloween, let's make some scary characters. You know? Gives you the right expression to do with any type of art.
Sweet. So like what age did you start doing that?
So I did it at the age of 8.
Okay.
And I started with Q-tips and yarn at first, so there wasn't really a more mobility, but it was like more of the funny, just knowing how to make things type of era. And then I also, in middle school, got in rhythm with pipe cleaners, so I was able to make like little more action figure dolls that were able to move.
It's super cool because you don't touch even on like cotton balls and that it's cost efficient. Like it's like you can get that from a Dollar General, a Dollar Store, Walmart.
Yeah, like it's just like even nature type stuff. Like for dioramas, I was thinking about actually working with more diorama backgrounds. I can use nature like stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
And then because this takes hours. So next thing you know, you're probably already 2 hours deep within it. Now it's time for school, time for bed, go to school, and then get this thing back in the going again.
The best part about it is it's not only that you're able to take breaks with them, but you're also be able to do them while doing something else, you know? It's easier to multitask with them since they don't require a lot of critical like hand adjustments, you know? So since they're more of the easy hand adjustments, I'm positive you could do it with one hand if you tried.
But then it teaches you the trait about how to do two things at once.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Gives you the amazing traits to do that, and since you can do multiple things while doing them, because I can do them standing, seating, or laying down, I'm just chilling with them, you know, because they don't require like, oh, I need both of my hands to do this and this and that, or I need to paint like this and that. No.
So I also have to, just as a young black man, to, you know, there are times where individuals will be like, hey, you're playing with dolls. You know, that was I love that. I love that. Man, so tell me a little bit about that shrug.
My shrug about that is like, every time when somebody comes and meet me, if I had $1 of every time would they ask if it's an action figure or a doll, I would be already rich. And I swear to God, with that being said, it's just like, I don't care what you call them. I like to call them action figures. You could call them dolls. I don't care. Call them figurines, call them fitters or anything. It's just like, it's my creative freedom. If you like it, call them what you see them. If you see them as dolls, great. If you see them as action figures, even better. It don't matter.
I love the fact that you did not allow that to be something that then like caused you anger.
No,
because you know some things like that.
It's just more of the creative freedom about it. It's just more of having fun with them. It's nice and has action and it actually has a doll-like feature. Like think about it. The first thing you thought of, most likely 9 times out of 10 was a doll. You only thought of action figure after because they actually can move like an action figure. So it's just like, it has you with all the infinite mobility. So yeah, you can put your leg all the way up, or you can do individual fingers, like have it point as well, or make the peace symbol and all that. But it also has its doll-like feature because it's nicely stitched, and you know, it works out for both ways. So that's why it just doesn't matter to me.
Sweet. So for other young black kids that sometimes get deterred from doing things because they may have a label of, oh, that's not what you're supposed to do. It's
stereotypical.
What do you say to those? And it may not be dolls. It may be even anything. Maybe even sewing. Because you know what?
Just
that is
sewing,
a thing.
felting, anything.
Yeah.
I have to express every art in any type of way I can because I just like every art and I like to learn about them. And what I'm saying with the younger black kids in the community, I would rather you do art. Instead of trying to have art with all the violence and stuff, figure out your art native. Maybe you like cutting grass, or maybe you like doing landscaping, or maybe your art perceivement is, the astropheres. Maybe you want to learn about, science or anything,
Yeah.
Bring your own art to your own community. That's why I like to say I'm a diverse artist or a lifelong learner, because I always want to learn more. I always want to be up to date with the skills. So.
Well, I appreciate you just being able to express that information to me. I appreciate it, my man.
Stay connected with the Bronzeville Communications Network. Your community, your voice, your network.